Hey, small group, welcome back to our Christian Essentials small group curriculum. We are still in our God section. We're going to be looking at 4 more characteristics of God that we can see in our statement of faith. I'm going to read our statement of faith section about God once again, and then we'll dive right back into the characteristics, give you some verses to look up, and some questions for you guys to discuss. So, statement of faith, God section. We believe in God, the Father, an infinite personal spirit, perfect in holiness, wisdom, power, and love. We believe that he concerns himself mercifully in the affairs of each person, and that he hears and answers prayers, and that he saves from sin and death all who come to him through Jesus Christ. The first characteristic of God that we're going to look at in our second video is the fact that God is holy. He is perfect in holiness. That's what our statement of faith says. Holy means to be set apart, to be different from. And so let's look at quite a few verses when it comes to God's holiness and our holiness, and then we'll answer some questions based on that. That was quite a few verses for you to look up, so I hope that you took plenty of time to walk through each of those verses, read them aloud as a group, or silently. It doesn't matter, however your small group functions best. But I also wanted to add in there a section for us to understand that because God is holy, we are asked to be holy as well, and what that looks like for us. Now, next, we're going to look at the characteristic of love. That one of the defining characteristics of God is his perfect love. And so take some time to look through these verses and answer these questions. This is one of those sections where I think we could spend a whole video or multiple videos, and we probably could on each of these sections. But when it comes to God's love, I think it's been so distorted so many times. But I think for me and I think many others, we can remember God's love so much because it makes us feel really, really good. But we forget that God is just. And that's part of him being perfect in wisdom, is that he is just, that he makes right decisions. And so we're going to take a few moments to read some verses about God being just, and then we'll answer some questions. In that section, we looked at not only God being just, but also what our justice in response to God being just looks like. And that's one of the things that discipleship really is about. Discipleship is not just for your sake to learn more. It's for your sake to gain an understanding of who God is, how we relate to that God, and then how we relate to other people based on that. It is growing in our understanding, essentially for the sake of other people as well. So our final characteristic that we're going to look at for God in our section talking about God in our statement of faith and our Christian essentials is that God is faithful. None of this matters, honestly, if God is not faithful to his word, if God is not consistently there when we need him. This might be the most important characteristic of God, is that he is faithful. He carries us through. He is there for us at all times. And so again, take your time to walk through these verses, read them aloud, discuss them, and then answer the questions about God's faithfulness. Guys, I hope through this two-part video about God and why we believe what we believe and why it matters to us and how it impacts us, I hope that you were encouraged. I hope that you were built up in your faith to be able to go back to the basics, to go back to the fundamentals and review again the groundwork, the foundation for why we believe what we believe. And again, my prayer is that through this Christian Essentials Bible study curriculum, through this small group curriculum, that you would just be so encouraged and so strengthened in your faith to be able to stand firmly in who God is and who He is to you, who He is to the world, and why we can put our trust in Him. Thanks for viewing. Next week, we'll start our conversation about Jesus.